Okay, our objective today is to multiply fractions and mixed numbers. We're going to start with going over the warm-up first, and then we'll come back to going over homework. And I'll go back to the objective so you guys can see that. Okay, warm-up for numbers 1 through 4. You guys put these answers up while I checked homework. Number 1 is 5 over 24. Number 2 is negative 1.5. Number 3, is that a 13? Okay, we're good. And number 4, we left as an improper fraction. Did anyone change that to a mixed number? And either way is fine. Gio, would you change your mixed number to? Good, negative 7 and 11/36. Either one of those is fine. Okay, I'm not going to get picky. Before we move to the second part of the warm-up, any questions on how to do 1 through 4? Grace, what number? Okay, did you convert it to an improper fraction first? Okay, so let's do that one. Okay, Grace, 7.5, what did you change to? Did you write down what you changed them to? Seven and a half. 7 times 2 is 14. Okay. Okay, let's do that first. And then 5 and 5, 6, what did you change that one to? Good job. Okay. And then what did you change 15 over 2 to? Okay. Okay, Grace, after you added those, what did you get? Okay, and then you converted yours back to? You okay? Anyone else have quit, Neil? What did you change yours to? Yeah, that's perfect. Yep. So you could have had that or the mixed number that was up here. Either way is fine. Okay, that's fine, Maria. Thank you. Anyone else? Questions on 1 through 4? Okay, second part here, 5 through 8. Number 5 should be 1/6. Number 6 should be 2 over 15. Very good job on those. Number 7 is negative 73 over 10. And then number 8 is, that's a positive 43, right, Ray? Okay, 43 over 8. Positive, even though it kind of looks like there's negatives in there. Thanks, Tiger. I know. Okay, questions on 5 through 8 or anything else on that warm-up before we go over homework? Peyton? Okay, before I do this one, how did you do this? Did you simplify anything or did you just start off by multiplying? Okay, so you did 3 times 4, which is 12, 8 times 9, which is 72, and then you can simplify that 12 goes into each of them. Did you just multiply wrong by accident? So multiply top, multiply bottom, and then simplify either on the calculator or mentally. Anyone else? Justin, are you focusing over there? Okay. Anyone else, 1 through 8? Okay, let's go over homework, starting with 5.2. Let me go backwards here. Okay, homework from last night. When we did this yesterday with adding, subtracting fractions with like denominators and unlike denominators, I had you guys take all the mixed numbers and change them to improper fractions, but you also could have left them as mixed numbers if you prefer to add or subtract that way. So you can give me your answer, make sure it's completely simplified, however you prefer to do them. Okay? Jordan, we'll start with you with number 2 on 5.2. Oh, 5.2. I think you're on 5.3. Make sure you guys and girls are all on 5.2. Nathan M., please take your homework out. Yep. We just finished that. Ben, are you out of it today too? Okay. Okay, negative 4 over 5. Drew, number 4. Good. 1 and 3 over 43. Number 6, Alexis. Good. Number 8, Evan. Good. Negative 21 over 40. And good, that's completely simplified. Number 10, Steve. Thanks, George. No. Camille? Yeah, negative 1 and 1/7. Steve, did you change them to improper fractions? You should have, okay, if you did, you should have 36 over 7 minus 44 over 7. And then you get negative 8 over 7. Okay, just check that to make sure you're okay. Number 12, Neil. Okay, so you left yours always simplified to improper fractions, correct? Okay, if you guys had that, that's fine. The mixed number should be negative 11 over 5/9. Either way is fine. Amberly, do you have a question? Or you want to do the next one? Okay, Amberly, 14. Good, 4 3/5. 16, Skylar. Good, negative 45 over 8 or negative 5 5/8. Either one's fine. Abigail, number 18. Say that again. Where did your x go? Okay, good. Just making sure. 5x over 7. Number 20, Nathan M. Good. Negative x over 1 or just negative x or negative 1x over 1. It doesn't matter how you have that written. Jackie, 22, please. Good. 1 over 12x. Ray, 24. No. I think you might have just, did you realize that was a negative in front of the 5/12s? Oh, I'm looking at 23. Say that again, I'm sorry. You're good, my fault. I'm looking at 23. Thank you, Ray. No wonder you were looking at me like, what is she talking about? Neil? Yes, I can. Okay, before I get to that, did everyone check their answers for 2 to 24 even? Gio, do you have a question?
Yeah, on number 10.
Yeah. Well, technically, you keep them as mixed numbers. Okay, here's a little shortcut. Since, see how when you put them on top of each other, since that 5 is smaller than the 6, but also the numerator of the 1 is smaller than the 2, just subtract. So 5 minus 6 is negative 1. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. You get negatives on both of them. So you don't have to carry or change anything if both the larger number and the numerator are both smaller on the top. I know I didn't teach it to you guys that way, Gio. That's why I say change them to improper fractions as well, or only do that. That way you can make sure you don't make any silly mistakes like that. Because sometimes that gets tricky. You okay now with that? Okay, Amberly, I'll come right back to you. Neil, number 16, you said? Neil, did you change yours to improper fractions? Okay, good. Okay, hold on. Okay. So Neil, first thing, negative 4 and 11 over 16. Did you change to negative 75 over 16? Okay. And then negative 15 over 16, you obviously just leave alone. Okay. When you subtracted those, what did you get? Okay. So you forgot to add the opposite, add them, put the negative in front. And then if you want, simplify the improper fraction or convert it back to a mixed number. You okay now? Okay. Drew? Yeah. And Amberly, I'll come back to you. Okay, 20. This one, let me write it up here. Negative 4x over 45 minus 41x over 45. Okay, so there's not really much that I can say here, Drew, besides when you're subtracting and you have a negative, you're really adding the opposite. So you need to add those two numerators, which is negative 45x, keep the negative in front. It's all over 45. And then you're dividing, it's the same coefficient. Negative 45 divided by 45 is negative 1. Keep the x there. Oh, no. Negative 45 divided by negative 45 is 1. So, yes, just keep the negative in front. Amberly? Yes. Okay, what did you get for your next step? Oh, yeah. You don't subtract, you need to add them. You know what I mean? Okay, and then from there for 16, if you convert it back to a mixed number, you get negative 5 5/8, or you could even simplify that further if you wanted to. Anyone else, either on the ones that we did or something else from 5-2? Josh? Wait, what number? I didn't hear you. 18? Okay, sorry. 18, okay. So we have on there, Josh, 19 over 28, 19x over 28 plus 1x over 28. 19x plus 1x is 20x, all over 28. And then 4 goes into each of them. Did you forget to add them? Okay. Anyone else? Okay, let's go to 5-3. If you change your mind, let me know. Okay, 5-3. Ray, we'll start with you here. What did you get for number 2? No. Jackie? Good, 26 over 63. Peyton, number 4? No. Grace, what'd you get for 4? Yeah, negative 17 over 36. Peyton, did you forget there were 2 negatives back to back, maybe? Okay, I'll come back to that one in a couple minutes. Josh, number 6? You said 8 and 3/60ths? You're good. Negative 83 over 60, or you can convert it to negative 1 and 23 over 60. Nathan S., number 8. Good job, 19/35. Number 10, Ben. Okay, I think that one should have been negative. Oh, never mind. You're good. You're good. I was looking at 11 again. Thank you. Number 12, Gio. Didn't do that one? Gio, are you paying attention? No. Amberly, number 12, please. Good. Negative 8 over 15. Number 14, since it's already up here, 1 and 19 over 45. Mike, number 16. Good job. Number 18, Abigail. You said negative 4 and 3 over 25, right? No. Did you change them to improper fractions? Okay, maybe you just simplified it wrong. Greta, what'd you get for 18?
2.
Okay, just keep it as negative 2 and 31/50ths, and you're good. 20, Joseph. No. Did you change it to improper fractions? Okay. Shane, what'd you get for 20? No. No, this one's just a fraction. Amberly? Yeah, negative 10 over 33 is what 20 should be. We'll go over that one. Camille? Negative 131 over 50. Did you have that? Okay. Steve? Number 6, negative 1 and 23 over 60. Okay, I'll come back to questions. 22, let's flip over and then we'll come back. 22 should be negative 5 and 41 over 48. 24 should be 2 and 23 over 48. 2 and 23 over 48. The improper fraction of 24 is 119 over 48, if you left it like that. Okay, 26. Hold on one second, Neil. Let me finish going through the answers, okay? 26 should be 43x over 24. 28 should be negative 36x over 35. 29 should be 8 and 13 over 24 pounds. And then 30 is 11 over 35 are blue. Okay, before I flip the screen and ask for questions, make sure you guys have these checked. Neil, what number were you going to ask about? Okay, 22's improper fraction is negative 281 over 48. Okay, and then 29's improper fraction, I have 205 over 24. Okay, and you're good. Either way is fine, as long as you simplify, right? Okay, here. And then Janelle and Justin, you guys need to leave within a minute, okay, so that you're not late for your first period class. Ray, you got him? Jordan? Number 6? Okay. 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 Can I move this? Ray, did you check yours? Is it okay if I move this, guys? Okay, Jordan, number 6. What it was your common denominator for each of them? Okay, good. Sorry, I just wrote that up there by accident. Okay, so what did you change your first fraction to so I can make sure that you did these correctly? Did you? Okay. Anyway, just in case anyone else needs it, should be negative 55 and then negative 28. And then you get negative 83 over 60. Okay? Drew, what number? Thanks, Justin. 26. Okay, 26. What did you use for your common denominator, Drew? 24. Okay. Okay, what did you change the numerator to in the first one? Good. What did you change the numerator to in the second one? Good. So all you're doing is adding them. You get 43x over 24. Oh, okay. Well, you got the hard part right. That's good. Thanks, Janelle. I'll talk to you in class. Mike? 14. Okay. Okay. Everyone's okay. Okay, Mike, for 14, what did you change them to as improper fractions? Let's start there. Actually, did you do your common denominator first? Okay, tell me that first. Okay, so 4 and what over 45? Did you write that down? Okay. Okay, let me do this first, then I'll ask you what your improper fractions were. The 3, after you change that to something over 45, it's minus 3 and 6 over 45. Okay, Mike, tell me what your improper fractions were with the common denominator. Can someone verify that for me? I didn't write that down on my paper for some reason. Did you guys have that? Jackie? What? I can't hear you. 64? Hold on a second. Did anyone write down their improper fractions? Are those right? Okay, thank you. I didn't write that on my paper, and I didn't want to waste your time. Okay, Mike, did you have all this? No? I don't know where you messed up. Okay, and then all you do is convert it back. That's right, and then just convert it to a mixed number, which is 1 and 19 over 45. Okay, that was right. Greta? Yeah. It cannot because the numerator has an x and the denominator does not. Kind of confusing. So if only one part of the fraction has an x, you have to leave it like that. You can simplify it as a fraction or an improper fraction, but you can't convert to a mixed number. Does that make sense? Okay. Abigail? Okay. Steve? Okay. Hold on one second. Abigail, remind me to come back to that in a second. Okay, for this one right here, Steve, right? Okay, did you do what I did? Well, then you just subtracted wrong. You had 61 here instead of 64? Okay, then you converted these wrong. You have to do 4 times 45 plus 25. Okay, and then 3 times 45 plus 6. What we did yesterday is found common denominators and then converted them to improper fractions. Anyone else on what we've done so far? Abigail, I'm sorry, 16 or 19? No, neither. 18. We didn't do odds. Okay, 18. Did you convert them to improper fractions first? And was your common denominator 50? Okay, so you should have had negative 306 over 50 as your first one, plus 175 okay, over 50 for the second one. And then you get negative 131 over 50, which you can convert back to negative 2 and 31 over 50. You okay? Okay. Peyton? No big deal. You mean if you left it as an improper fraction? Well, then that's a problem. If you left it as an improper fraction, it's correct and it's simplified, that's fine. Are you talking about 18? Do you want me to keep going? Did you subtract something wrong? Oh, what did you get for your answer for the mixed numbers? Okay, I'm not sure how you got that. Okay, so your mixed numbers should have been, if you change them to have common denominators, and you also have to carry. Do you remember how to carry from last year or the year before? Like, for example, it was originally -6 and 6 over 50 plus 3 and 25 over 50. That's initially what you have, but you have to change this to -5 and 56 over 50. Did you do that? Okay, don't do it that way. Change them to improper fractions. Okay? Anyone else? You'll make less mistakes, promise. Peyton? Are 24 and 28 what? Oh, I'll go back to that. There's 24, and I'll flip to 28 in a second. While Peyton's checking that, anyone else? Sure. Peyton, do you want me to flip it? Oh, not there. I'll just read it to you. 28 should be -36x over 35. Okay. Okay, anyone else? Okay, you guys had lots of questions. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs down on that, because I don't know if I feel confident with you guys with that. Keep them up for a second. Okay, so just give me a head nod. Those of you that asked me questions, was it just little mistakes? Okay. Do you feel comfortable moving on? Give me a head nod one way or the other. Okay, this was hard to read you guys today for some reason. Amberly, which one? Okay. Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Let's move on, but then Monday we're going to practice a little more with this. Does that sound good? So we'll still do both. I want to move on because this lesson's not that bad today. And then Monday, I want to type up a worksheet for Monday. We'll do some more practice with adding, subtracting with like and unlike denominators. Does that sound good? Okay. Take out your notes to 5-4, which is page 12. Okay, so open up to page 12. We're going to talk about today, which we kind of have already done this year, multiplying fractions and mixed numbers. So in this lesson, we have to cross-simplify, which, again, I've told you before, it's optional, but now I want you to really try to start doing this if you have not already done this. Okay, so multiplying fractions and mixed numbers. Okay, we're going to start off with the little box at the top of page 12, which says multiplying fractions. And here's what your book says. The product of two or more fractions is equal to the product of the numerators over the product of the denominators. So basically, you're just multiplying across the top, across the bottom. The product of two or more fractions is equal to you multiplying the numerators and then you multiplying the denominators. Multiply across the top, across the bottom. This should be pretty much of a review for you guys as well. Okay, Ben? Okay. Here's an example using numbers. Feel free to write down what you need to here. 3 over 5 times 4 over 7. All you're doing is multiplying across the top, across the bottom. 3 times 4 is 12. 5 times 7 is 35. On this example, there's nothing to cross-simplify. The 3 and the 7 do not have anything in common. The 4 and the 5 do not have anything in common. Okay, and then one example using letters. We have A over B times C over D. Multiply across the top, across the bottom. There's variables, but the variables don't have anything in common, so there's nothing to simplify, to cross-simplify. And then I want you to keep in mind the denominators cannot be 0. So B cannot be 0, D cannot be 0. You cannot have an undefined function. When we get to chapter 8, we'll talk about that in much more detail. Multiplying fractions, we're going to cross simplify, and then we're going to multiply across the top, across the bottom. Okay, first example, we have 5/12, and that's a positive 5/12 times -3/20. Don't go ahead of me. First thing I want you to do is to cross simplify. Let's look at the 5 and the 20, okay? And actually, before we do that, I'm going to change this and put the negative with the 3. If the negative's in the middle of the fraction, do you have your notes? Okay. I want you to change that and put the negative either with the numerator or with the denominator. It does not matter which one you put it with. I just don't want you to forget about it, okay? Let's now look at the 5 and the 20. 5 goes into 5 one time. 5 goes into 20 4 times. You can cross simplify. Look at the numbers diagonally from each other, and you can simplify them if there's something that goes into both of them. So if they have a GCF. Let's then look at the -3 and the 12. 3 goes into both of them. So if you take 3 and divide 3 by -3, you get -1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Do you guys remember cross simplifying? Okay. Before I keep going, does anyone have questions on what I just did? I'm not sure how slow I need to go on this. Okay. Let's multiply across the top, across the bottom, just like the definition told us. 1 times -1 is -1. And then 4 times 4 is 16. So our answer on that is -1/16. That's it. If you don't cross simplify, you simplify at the end, you're still going to get the exact same answer. Ben, don't do that, please. I think it's easier to cross simplify initially because you save yourself some time from having to simplify at the end. Again, like I told you yesterday, you can choose the way you like if you don't like doing it this way. Okay, let's look at letter B. Letter B, we have 7/16 times 5/14. There's not any negatives there that we need to move. Is there anything that we can cross simplify, Josh? Good, 7 and 14. 7 goes into each of them. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 14 divided by 7 is 2. The only thing you can cross simplify because there's nothing that goes into both the 5 and the 16. Multiply across the top. 1 times 5 is 5. Across the bottom, 16 times 2 is 32. And obviously you can't simplify any further. We already cross simplified at the beginning. That's the answer. Okay, let's take a look at example 2. Steve? Yep, I just said that. You're going to get the same thing. You can do it whichever way you want. I just like doing this. To me, it saves me time, but whatever you prefer. If you want to do that and then simplify later, Steve, that's fine. Amberly? The 12's not negative. I did that 3 goes into each of them. If you did -3 goes into each of them, you can do that, but then that would be a +1 and that would be a -4. You can do that, yeah, and if anyone else did that, if you did -3 goes into each of them instead of 3, that's fine. You're still going to get the same answer. This negative could go with the 16, the 1, or just go in the middle. Doesn't matter. Good question there. Anyone else? Jordan? Sure. Okay, let's go to example 2, kind of a weird question. Okay, so it says here, the shower head in your home uses 2.5 gallons of water per minute, okay? If you take a 7-minute shower, how many gallons of water do you use? This is kind of crazy. I don't know how true this is. How would you do this? How would we do this? David? Good. All we would do here is take 2.5 times 7. I would take 2.5, convert it to an improper fraction. 2.5 is really 5/2. So we have 5/2 times 7. Any whole number really has a 1 on the bottom. So we have 5/2 times 7/1. Is there anything we can cross simplify here? No. So you just multiply across the top, across the bottom. We get 35/2. And you can either leave it like that because that is completely simplified, or change it to 17.5 gallons of water per minute. Actually, no. Gallons of water per 7 minutes. So that's how many gallons you would use if you took a 7-minute shower. That's a lot, if that's true. Nathan? 14 over 2? Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. You actually don't have to find common denominators here because we're not adding or subtracting, but you'll still get the same answer if you do it that way. Is that easier to you? That's fine. Did anyone else do that and change the 7 to 14 over 2? All right. Any other questions or comments on that one? Okay, let's go to example 3. And then I'm just skipping around a little bit. Okay, 3a. We have just mixed numbers here now. Negative 3 1/5 times 4 1/6. Let's first convert these to improper fractions. Please remember, ignore this negative until you convert it. So 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16. So 16 over 5. And in this case, I would put the negative either with the top, the numerator, or the denominator. That way you don't get confused when you're cross-simplifying. To convert the next one, we have 6 times 4, which is 24, plus 1, which is 25. So we have 25 over 6. Okay, let's cross-simplify. What can we cross-simplify? Grace? Okay, and what goes into each of those? Good. So we can change 6 divided by 2 is 3. Negative 16 divided by 2 is negative 8. So keep those negatives where they should be. In other words, keep that negative with the 8. And then, Greta, what goes into both 5 and 25? Good. 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 25 divided by 5 is 5. So 5 goes into each of those. We can then multiply across the top, across the bottom. We get negative 40 over 3. There's your simplified improper fraction. Ben, what mixed number does that simplify to? Ben, what are you guys doing? Okay. Okay. Then what mixed number does that simplify to? Good job. Negative 13 and 1/3. Neil? No. Nope. Remember I told you that in the homework from yesterday? No, you don't have to. As long as it's completely simplified, it doesn't matter. Okay? Anyone else have questions on that? Okay, let's flip over to example 4. Do you guys think this is easier than adding and subtracting? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, it makes me feel better because Monday we're going to come back to adding and subtracting. I just want to type up a nice worksheet because I don't like the book problems for that. Okay, example 4. Here's as tricky as this will get is when you have variables and or exponents thrown in. Okay, so letter A. Let's look at this one. Neither of them are mixed numbers, so we just need to cross simplify. We can change the 4 and the 10, but don't forget about this negative here. See this negative? Let's put that with the 10. So the negative that's in the middle of 10 over 7, put it with the 10. And let's cross simplify. 2 goes into both 4 and negative 10. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. Negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. So keep the negative when you're cross simplifying. Now let's multiply across the top, across the bottom, Ray. Don't do that. M times negative 5 is negative 5m. Remember, when you're multiplying, they don't have to be like terms. 2 times 7 is 14. Negative 5m over 14 is your answer. The negative can go wherever you want as long as it's somewhere in that fraction. Is that still pretty easy? Okay. All right, B gets a little crazy. Let's look at B. Ben? No. No. You mean like over here? No. Always need to put it in front. It'll look like you're subtracting something if you do that. Okay? Nice try, though. Okay, Neil. Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. Yep. Amberly? If you cross-simplify completely, that won't happen. Okay? Anyone else? Okay, so letter B, here's what Neil was asking, and kind of what Amberly was asking. You can cross-simplify here, even though there's a variable here. You don't need to worry about like terms. 3 goes into both the 9 and the 12. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So you can cross-simplify just the 9 and the 12, leave the variables where they are. Okay, now you need to think back from chapter 4, the end of chapter 4. When you multiply same base, what do you do with exponents? Nathan S? Add them. So 1n to the 4th times 3n to the 2nd is 3n to the 6th. I'll say that one more time. 1n to the 4th times 3n to the 2nd is 3n to the 6th. When you multiply same base, add exponents. Drew? Okay. And then denominator, 4 times 10 is 40. So 3n to the 6th over 40 is your answer. There were no negatives there. And that is already completely simplified. There's nothing else you can do. Everyone okay? All right, the closing I want to do with, well, actually, I want you guys to try the closing. I thought it was harder, but it's not. Go ahead and try the closing. There's just two problems, A and B. Please cross simplify. If there's a negative, put it with the numerator or the denominator. Good job. I want you to try this. Make sure you guys are trying the A and B on the closing. Good job. Can I have your pencil for a second? I forgot my negative. Thank you. Try that exponent again. Everything else is good. Don't forget about your negative. I forgot mine too. Did you forget to cross simplify the 5 and the 15? Good job. Forgot about the negative. Oh, is that your negative? Yeah, you're good. Good job. Awesome. Don't forget about your negative. Good job. Awesome. You guys are very good with these. Good. Good job. Good job. Neil, did I check yours? Okay. Making sure. Good job. In 1 second, don't forget your negative. I need to do one more thing with you guys. Good job. Good job. Don't forget about your negative. All right, very, very good. Gio, can you tell us what you got for letter A, please?
3x cubed over 20.
Good job. Good. And Amberly, can you tell us what you got for B? Good job. Okay, before you move or do anything, I want to do one more problem with you, but does anyone need me to go into detail on either one of these? I know I checked most of yours. Sure? Okay, there's one problem in the homework that's kind of like this. So at the bottom of your packet, I want you to add this problem, please. Not that I think you'll be fine with doing it, but just in case. All right, so we have negative 2/3 times 1/2 plus 4/6. Welcome back, order of operations, right? And fractions, all you're adding and subtracting. Okay, so on this, yeah, the 2/3 is negative. I don't know why that thing is sticking up there. Okay, what do you do first? And I'm sure you could have figured this out on your own, but just in case. Skylar, what do you do first? Good. You need to multiply first from left to right. Order of operations, remember Gem tells us to multiply, divide from left to right. There's something that we can cross simplify here. Grace, what can we cross simplify? Yep. 2 goes into -2, -1 times. 2 goes into 2 one time. So if you want to cross simplify, go for it. Again, you don't have to. Multiply across the top, across the bottom, you get -1/3. Ray? Yeah, but that's not really going to change anything. Okay? So -1/3 after you multiply plus, I'm going to rewrite the 4/6. Okay, so back to what we did yesterday and what you did for homework last night. You're adding, but you need to find common denominators, right? So, Amberly, what is -1/3 going to change to? Good, -2/6, and rewrite your plus 4/6. Common denominator is 6. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 2 times -1 is -2. Camille, after you add them, what do you get? 2/6. Neil, completely simplified? Exactly. You are right. I was just using what we did today, but you're exactly right. Yeah. Yeah, only if it's faster for you, yes, you do not have to. And plus, it's just a tool for you. You don't have to cross simplify. You can simplify at the very end anyways. Okay? I'm just giving you tools to use, to make your life a little easier sometimes, right? Yeah. Gio? When you're multiplying, you don't need common denominators, only when you're adding and subtracting. But even if you did that, Gio, you should still get the same answer as us. Why don't you check back at your work? I'll come look at it in a second. Okay, I'll come look at it in a second. Anyone else? Okay, open up your packet to 5-4, please. And please remember, on Monday, I'm going to type up a worksheet this weekend. We'll do more practice with adding and subtracting on Monday. You guys did very well with this. My fault. I should have had that done for today. I didn't know if you guys would need practice or not. Ben? On which one? The one we just did? Okay, what did you do? Okay, and what'd you get? Okay, after you multiply, did you cross simplify, or did you cross simplify before? Okay, but Ben, did you listen to what we did? There's 2's here that you can simplify. Okay, so -1 times 1 is -1/3. 3 times 1 is 3. And then you drop down your 4/6. And then did you drop down the 4/6? Okay, we need to find a common denominator first. Okay, well that's the problem. Make sure you stay with us, okay? Okay, practice 5.4, and G, I'll be right over to check yours. Do not do all of these. I want you guys to do the odds of 5-4. Just the odds to the front and back. There is a problem where you have to find area of a triangle. So just remember, area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height, or base times height divided by 2. So just the odds, you should be able to fit it on here. Yeah, front and back. One more time, listen. 5.4, front and back. Grace, sit down. The odds, okay, front and back. You guys got it? And then Monday, we're not moving on. We're going to continue with adding and subtracting. Hold on, one more thing. Make sure if you borrowed a calculator yesterday that they're all back in the case. Okay, have a great weekend. Ray, walk, please. Gio, you sure?